My father was a heroin addict. He gave me to a random girl when she was buying some weed, and he was like, "Oh, hey, you want a baby too?" My dad died from using dirty needles shooting up heroin, and he got gangrene, and they had to amputate one of his legs, and he bled to death. It's okay. My dad was an asshole. Fuck that guy.
I lost custody over my kid from drugs. Heroin. That was my drug of choice, but I was in a car accident. I got addicted to painkillers, just spiraled. I lost such a big part of my life that when you are addicted to like very hard drugs, you definitely just miss life.
Yes. Literally, I just got a hospital for ODing because I couldn't deal with it. And it's not addicted to drugs or alcohol. It's addicted to anything that would relieve the pain at that moment. It doesn't matter what it is.
I was a drug addict for about 3-4 years. Mainly ecstasy and cocaine. And now I'm 22 and I still haven't achieved anything.
When I was younger, I did a lot of pot and other drugs. When I moved on, I lost a lot of my social interactions and relationships. Because a lot of smoking and doing drugs is social in nature. So whenever I left a new substance, I would lose a part of myself because I would lose a part of my friends. And now I'm clean and don't do anything because I want to live a simple life. The people that I know who still smoke and drink, I don't know. It just seems a little bit overrated. It doesn't really add anything to your life and it has the possibility of taking away a lot.
I have a family of alcoholics. It's been fun. My brother, he drinks a lot and now he's sleeping in the woods on a sleeping bag. The place he was living at kicked him out because he was getting too out of hand. So he didn't choose to sleep out in the woods or anything. Drugs has, alcohol has, sorry, I'm a little high, so I was gonna get to that as well. Are you seriously gonna put this in a video? You need Shit.
You are now listening to the smooth sounds of life progress, and if you like what you see, you should consider subscribing.
I've kind of become a stoner over the years, to be honest. I usually actually have to be inebriated in some way, like alcohol or marijuana, before I come in VR chat too.
She's an alcoholic.
We don't talk about that.
She got her OnlyFans and everything, bro. She a freak.
You acting like we're alcoholics or something, Claire. I mean, listen, we only get spicy on the weekends, like, you know, like it's not every single day. Some people are like that though on this game. It's just all blast and no cruise, mate.
Right now, I'm going through a divorce and I'm drowning myself in alcohol. It's been costly to my health and costly to my friends' mental states. It's not healthy and I am trying to like sober up, but it's so hard to go through the daily without it.
Hardest drug I've done is like one time I accidentally smoked shrooms.
You
do a lot of stuff.
Shrooms? That's so fucking lame.
A good friend of mine who had a bad trip, something really bad happened when he had this bad trip, and he basically broke a lot of bones.
Jumped off of a building. He's trying to be Superman, probably.
It's just funny because I'm drunk right now. No, it hasn't negatively affected my life yet. Because every time I do get drunk, I'm a lot more confident. I just go out there and do stuff. But that might be like a toxic thing. You know, it's not healthy.
I'm an alcoholic. I drink like a lot. I'm like one of those drunks that like put wine in my coffee mugs.
Whoa.
And my birth mother has never wanted to have anything to do with me. And my sisters ask me all the time, do you want to meet her? And I'm like, does she want to meet me? And she goes, well, she's never said anything. And I'm like, well, her. And then both my adopted parents are dead, so
I'm 21.
let's just say I'm old. I'm really, really old. Like I'm like probably the age of your dad old.
Did you ever go to college?
No, I partied at every college in North Carolina, but I did not go there. Like they would have thought that I was a student. Pretty much that proceeded to get me in trouble and get me kicked out of high school. I didn't get to graduate. Then I just kind of got into food service. That's pretty much where I still am now, decade plus later.
For me, I was still working on addiction bullshit and like my mindset, it wasn't still good, and I still am not in a very good living situation. So like there's factors that you have to deal with, but I'm accepting of it. Like it's fine.
I'm not gonna answer after that.
What are your thoughts on it?
It's a lot to take in.
It is, but I want to hear what your thoughts are.
I literally found out 2 days ago I only have 2 years to live. I'm gonna basically live till 30. When I was 13, I had stomach cancer, and then since then I've been ODing on prescription pills.
Oh, that sucks.
Whoa, that's no good.
All right, anyway, look, no matter who you are, no matter what you believe in, no matter what you look like, understand that no one will ever truly love you unless you
said it right.
believe yourself to be lovable.
Yep.
You are your own greatest limiter, and if you stay resolute and believe in yourself and chase what you want to do every single day, then you can achieve the world. And that's coming right from the source.
Well, I know this Dylan guy, and it made him bald.
Hey! No, I was smoking way before the hair fell out, sir.
Just stroking his chin.
Yeah.
he made him do some weed, and he was like,
Ooh, that's interesting. That's a tough first question.
No, I was like, I thought I was dying. I didn't even know that I could. I was like, I couldn't tell when I was breathing. I was heavily breathing the whole time. I thought I was dying.
To be honest, like when I was younger, I was diagnosed with a whole bunch of shit, and they put me on a whole bunch of medication. Eventually landed me on lithium for a little while.
I've heard of lithium batteries.
Lithium was back, I mean, I'm about to date myself, back in the 90s, man. It is like the antidepressant. They had me on shit that made me feel like a damn zombie. It wasn't good. I used to date this gorgeous goth girl. Her name was Liz, and she was the most beautiful creature ever. And then her family had her freaking diagnosed with some shit, and they put her on lithium. And then she starts painting pictures of flowers and shit and trying to tell me how she's related to Jesus. I know Jesus popped up a second ago behind me. I saw him.
They do. They prescribe opiates too hard of a dose for shitty reasons, and all of a sudden you're just addicted. Sometimes you don't actually get your kid back, and that's your choice on what's the best interest for your child. It's also the government's choice. For me, I gave up custody because I knew like my situation wasn't the best for her, and as much as I wanted her in my life, it wasn't the best choice for her, so I gave it up. I already knew. And for me, that was a very hard decision, but that decision was made for her, not for me.
I'm on a lot of medication because of my medical disabilities. It's basically made me from a happy and energetic person to a person who wants to basically just not want to deal with anything in the world.
It's not want to, it's can't. It's mentally can't deal with it.
I was
What are you
young,
supposed to do if you want to punch a hole in the wall, but you can't? If you want to put your hair out, you want to throw a chair, but you can't. People don't understand that this is real. It's not a game. It's not, oh, he's emo, oh, he's seen. That's just what people call us. It's not what we are. It's just a scene. That's what people want to look like. Oh, that looks cool, so let's look at it like that. That's not what life is.
Oh, this question seems directed at me specifically.
Yeah, I just looked right up.
The Xanax, that almost killed me. The acid almost killed me too. Nitrous oxide almost turned me into a moron.
I can only feel emotion and happiness when I'm drunk. I don't feel anything when I'm sober. I always drunk call people wanting love. I always get rejected. I hate my life a little more, and I feel a little less feeling when I'm sober.
Oh, well, you talked to the right guy. I'm a recovering addict. When I was living with my aunt and uncle, I used to steal my uncle's pain meds that he was taking from when he got out of the military. Stole my sister's wisdom teeth medicine. It was basically I was working 24/7. And the only way I could do it was to take pain meds. So I would basically, at the time I worked at a theater and I was assistant manager, I would get there at 7 o'clock in the morning, leave at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and then have to go back there at 7 o'clock the next morning. So I'd have like an hour or two of sleep, if that.
The one shitty thing about not knowing who my family really is, that I don't know about things about, say, alcoholism. If I'd have known that alcoholism ran in my family, I would have not started drinking alcohol. And I mean, I'm drunk every day. A couple of months ago, it was real bad. I was actually getting drunk at work because I was a store manager, so it didn't even matter. Like, I could get shit-faced drunk at work, and only a few people knew, and these were people that I would actually go outside with and smoke weed with, you know, like in the back parking lot. And I'm over here like, God, I'm drunk as shit, man. And I'm like, we gotta close this restaurant down. And yeah, it was bad. I started thinking, man, I'm like drunk at work now. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? So I got my shit together for a little while, but you know, I'm still drinking.
I have PTSD, and my PTSD caused me to have psychotic features, which causes me to be disassociate from reality.
Sometimes in the middle of the night, I think I'll hear things.
One of my other classmates, who was a guy I knew, actually overdosed. He straight up died. Drugs ain't a joke, man.
Damn.
He overdosed from cocaine. It was laced.
Australian culture is weird in terms of the whole drugs and alcohol scene. It's very, very much so like a social thing, but a lot of people take it too far. Especially like as an Australian, it's actually kind of odd how often I get asked that. How many people are like, oh, do a shoey. I think that, if anything, probably describes the Australian like drugs and alcohol culture pretty well.
If you're ever addicted to something like painkillers and then you have to have surgery, that is not good, because the pain medicine that they give you is like opiates and stuff. And I still, till this day, I can get high just thinking about it. I'm just like, oh yeah. Most people don't know is when you get hooked, I don't know if it's like your nerve endings get shot or whatever, but your pain tolerance goes down a lot because you were numbing yourself. Or either that or they just got suppressed for so long that it shoots up, I guess. And so like I'm in pain constantly, but I'm not gonna take any painkillers.
I had worked at Carpet Cleaning Solutions for a long time, and one of my favorite lead technicians there was a name named Josh. And Josh was a very hyperactive, but a very competent and very seemingly straightforward person. Well, one day I get pulled into my manager's office along with Josh, and we're both accused of stealing not only property from the house that we were just at yesterday, but also money. I asked him point blank, I said, "Did you do it? Did you steal anything?" And he looked right at my face and he said no. At the time, I thought he was telling me the truth. Turns out Josh was a big time cokehead.
Here's the thing, I got this guy, I call him my brother. I've known him for 20 plus years. I mean, we're not blood, but he's always been there for me. I've always been there for him. He actually died last year twice. He coded because he's diabetic and he actually had kidney failure in the middle of all the COVID shit. He was actually on lockdown in the hospital for 28 days to where I couldn't even go see him or nothing like that. So I look after my brother. My brother was actually in a wheelchair. He was wheelchair bound. He was handicapped to the point to where like he was going to spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair. Blood means nothing. I've been closer to people who we have nothing other than the bond of friendship and honesty and respect.
Most of it's defensive. If I think you're gonna harm me and me screaming, "I'm gonna cut your throat," it's gonna make you walk away and not come near me, I'm gonna say it because I want you to walk away, and I'm scared that if you don't walk away and you're here, that you're gonna hurt me, either emotionally or physically. So I use a defensive mechanism to scare you off. And they say that I'm psychotic, but it's not psychosis. It's just a defense mechanism for you to stay away from me. Sometimes it doesn't work, and then that brings you closer. Now you're aggressive. I made you aggressive because I was aggressive to scare you off.
Both my uncles are in prison for meth. And my aunt was also on meth. Now she's, instead of being addicted to meth, she's addicted to Jesus.
So when I'm around them, it's sort of like encouraged like to drink together sort of thing. Cause like a lot of them, they drink alone, but like it sort of makes me feel bad sometimes. And I drink with them just to like say don't drink alone and shit. My actual dad, he's like has physical dependency on it. And if he doesn't drink, like his body shuts down and shit. For me personally, I ended up getting really into drugs and shit like that. Mushrooms, LSD. I did acid right night of I got into a car crash. Like I got into a car crash earlier in the day, and then I was just like, I want to get high, so I decided to just take acid. And like acid doesn't really work like that where it automatically makes you happy, so it just made me more like sad about what happened in my day. And the people I was with, they're like fake people. A couple months later they ended up like backstabbing me, but I've seen before my eyes like while I was tripping someone have a bad trip, and like we were like waving at him and like he wasn't responding. Like actually during the trip when he was tripping out, he had actually gotten aggressive and punched one of our friends, like his closest friend actually, in the face. And after the trip was over and shit, he had no recollection at all of what happened, and he had no idea that he had punched him or anything like that.
They found an entire kilo of uncut cocaine in the backseat of his car, along with other random shit of like stolen t-shirts, jeans. When you think you know somebody and to find out that you don't at all, mainly because I thought I was pretty good at detecting when people were bullshitting me, he unfortunately is a fantastic liar because nobody knew.
Man, I don't know, because to be honest with you, like I had a fiance and I don't have a fiance anymore, and some of that may have to do with the drugs, and it also may have to do with 2 abortions and some other stuff. Maybe if I wouldn't have been doing it, maybe things would be different, but to be real, I never thought I was that guy, and I don't think I will be that guy who's gonna end up getting married and having kids and shit like that. In all honesty, dude, I haven't been in a relationship in 6 years, and I haven't had sex in about that same amount of time because of the ex-fiance. And it wasn't even like right away. Like I had a rebound, and then the rebound went really south and started stalking me, and then ended up cheating on me and getting herpes. But luckily I didn't sleep with her after they got, you know what I'm saying? I didn't catch herpes is what I'm trying to say.
And like I'm supposed to be in a relationship with someone, but I don't know how to tell them that, and I don't think they'll believe me or want to be with me mean, I don't think anybody would want to be with me. They can't handle it. And it kind of hurts being alone. Like, my whole life, it's hard because I'm in and out of hospitals and procedures and rehabs and facilities. And I try to get help, but no one will help me. Lowering your mood. Now, I couldn't even hear my therapist. She was whispering in the phone.
Therapist, she only asks you like 3 questions per hour. You paid like $200 per hour for her to ask 3 questions and you talking about your whole life. Dude, I can do that on, I don't know, Omegle or whatever.
I would rather have a psychologist rather than a therapist.
It doesn't really make a difference, to be honest. It doesn't really make a difference. The only difference is the type of medicine they can give you out for your medication. That's the only real difference between a therapist and a psychologist.
And they don't even know what they're doing. They're guessing. They've been guessing since I've been a child. Since like 7 years old, and I'm 27.
And 2 different psychologists in a span of 15 years. And it didn't help one bit. I got my first antidepressants and sleeping pills when I was 15. I declined to take the shit any longer after like 2 or 3 months because this shit is unreal. I had disassociations and derealizations, so that basically your reality doesn't feel like reality anymore.
I had a friend who smoked weed, and when he blacked out from smoking too much weed, he would go to his grandmother and rip out his hair. They say a drunk man's words is a sober man's thoughts. When you're drunk, you expose your real self.
Honestly, quitting doing drugs will be the best thing you would ever do for your life. I mean, yeah, you know, it's there for the time being, but when it's gone, like, what do you have? Pretty much just your same dull life that you are not working on. I mean, I speak from experience, right? So
I've kind of like turned to alcohol like a year ago. I was dating this girl for like 3 years, and then we had a really bad breakup. She was cheating on me, and she left me for this guy. I swear to God, this guy was like some honestly, when I say this, crackhead guy, low-end job, dead-end job, car was broken down. All like I'm talking, this guy was like bad. But I mean, you know, people can come back. But this dude was so far low. Like if he's gonna come back, it's gonna be like a 15 years later.
My last one, I pretty much slept on the couch for the last year of our relationship because I had caught her doing some shady shit. And I didn't have anywhere else to go. It was either that or I was going to be living out of my car again. And I'd already been homeless like 2 times before that, living out of a very small truck, which I actually have a very small truck again. It was in the middle of like a really bad winter. So I didn't want to go back through that shit again.
Sometimes I feel like it's just better to deal with things in stride, which is why sometimes I feel like I ignore humanity and people make fun of me for it. I get called a snowflake. Sometimes I just want to run away in the woods, but that wouldn't be a good idea.
Bro, if you're in a rough patch and you're smoking, let me tell you, get off that shit quick. Like, weed just brung down my mentality. So it was terrible for my anxiety and depression. Like, it brutally lowered, like, everything. I found after 2 weeks of not smoking, I could think a lot more clearly, not so existential about shit.
Well, I'm gonna be frank with you. Me, not as much. But I do have this one crack-addled aunt who had completely destroyed my mother's side of the family.
I'm pure.
I'm pretty sure everything is illegal in your country. Like, hella
Yes.
illegal.
Actually, she left me, honestly. She was in love with him, and I was like, I was hurt, man. You know, being with someone for so long, like 3 years is a pretty good bit of time. I turned to drinking. It was the first time I really ever started drinking. I would just always talk to him, and I would drink and drink and drink and drink.
I smoked opium for probably a month. I will never get opium again because, yeah, after a month, man, I don't even remember that month, dude. Like, when I actually came at it and everything was done, like, I had pizza boxes in my room and like 2-liter bottles all over the place. I really don't remember what was going on.
My parents actually lost custody of me because they were dealing drugs with me, like in the car.
Holy
yeah,
shit.
I didn't. And then my father, he died of drugs.
I didn't tell you about my dad, and like, you know, I'm adopted, right? Yeah, that's why I don't like to talk about shit like that. So you open up shit when you ask questions like that, my guy.
I mean, like, I moved states to get sober, so, but you know, I had a couple friends die. Other than that, not too bad.
I couldn't imagine losing custody for someone, your daughter, and then living the rest of your life, and then like she only calls to say hello.
I'm just respectable adult on YouTube. What's yours? Oh, wait. Wait. Hold on. That's no good. It's me from earlier today.